in the midst of talking to the Chinese leader, Xi Jinping, about North Korea, Trump found out that it's actually a little bit more complicated than you would imagine. He said, after listening for 10 minutes, I realized it's not so easy. It's not what you would think. I can't describe to you how unbelievable that quote is. Which child thought North Korea would be simple? That you would go and be like, oh, North Korea. There's been an armistice for 64 years. It's been led by a family of dictators for that same amount of time. They have all of these missiles buried in the mountains, ready to go, some nuclear, some non-nuclear, which they can launch at a minute's notice. They could pulverize Seoul, South Korea, let alone Japan, kill millions of people. But you thought it was gonna be simple, you schmuck? God, and then he talks to the Chinese leader and he's like, oh man, the Chinese seem to know this a little bit. Why didn't you get an intelligence briefing before you talked to the Chinese leader? He's so dumb.
What do you think the Chinese leader thinks of Donald Trump right now?
Oh my
I had to teach this moron about one of the biggest potential foreign policy disasters in the world right now, and that was the first time I met him.
And afterwards he said, oh man, I didn't know this was gonna be that hard. Oh my God, if I'm a foreign leader, I'm almost embarrassed for us. Like, oh, I guess I could take advantage of you because you're so stupid, but I feel bad doing it. It's like taking advantage of a person who's a little slow or a lot slow. So, which reminded me of another quote from a couple of weeks ago when he said about healthcare this.
Now, I have to tell you, it's an unbelievably complex subject. Nobody knew that healthcare could be so complicated.
I don't
know. Everybody in the world knew.
It took Obama all that time to do it. To get rid of to keep the pre-existing condition clause, but to get rid of the rest of it. Of course it's complicated, you moron. Nobody knew. Nobody knew it was complicated. He is a child. And look, you forget how dumb Bush was, and he was, believe me, he was a grade A moron, okay? But this guy might have topped him. So I want to go back to an old poll we have on the Young Turks here, tytnetwork.com/dumb. Who is dumber, George W. Bush or Donald Trump? And it is not an easy contest. I always play random Bush quotes.
Budget man.
He called his budget director the budget man.
And I make a lot of big ones and I make a lot of little ones. Spent a little time with the CIA man this morning, keep catching up on the events of the world.
Okay. How do you put food on your children?
Okay, so it's not easy, but I barely voted for Trump last time. I'm voting more vigorously for Trump this time. Because I think that George W. Bush had a better inclination of what he didn't know. Like he knew that Jeb Bush was smarter, he knew that his dad was smarter, and he was kind of bitter about it. He knew the Ivy League guys were smarter and was kind of bitter about it, even though he went to Ivy League, but he knew he didn't really get into the Ivy League, right? Trump, I think, thinks he did get into the Ivy League. That his dad didn't pull strings to get him out of Fordham with his miserable grades and get him into Penn, right? Like George Bush was, as in the famous words of Governor Ann Richards, who ran against him back in the day, said he was born on third base and thought he hit a triple. But he had an inkling that he didn't really hit that triple, right?
And so Trump, some smart people.
Trump was born on third base and thought he hit a grand slam. And he absolutely believes it. He has no idea how stupid he is.
And also, I think George W. Bush couldn't have done any better. That's the limit of his abilities. I think that if Trump wasn't so incurious and so hostile to learning, if he were to actually try, he could be smarter. And so he's both dumb and lazy, so screw him.
Yeah, tytnetwork.com/dumb. But we report, you decide. If you're a member of the Young Turks, you not only get the whole 2-hour Young Turks show on demand anytime you want, ad-free, but you also get so many other shows. Old School, you'll love it. Aggressive Progressive for guys who are true progressives. Now also Nerd Alert for gaming and tech. What the Flick for movie reviews. You will love it. Check it out right now at tytnetwork.com/join.